So what you see is still doable, but Alter is indeed nerfed in a huge way, and we're going to showcase what that means immediately in the test range. Originally, I planned to do a tier list for the best skirmishers, but yesterday they had a really big update. Alter nerfed, PK nerfed, Seer was buffed, and just a few other changes. So let's talk about the Alter nerf first. Alright, now for the Alter section. This is really important. One of the ones that you're seeing right off the rip is that you cannot, whenever you're knocked, take the Void Nexus. It's not doable. Now, I did see a Twitter video showcasing that you could take this if you had an alternate interact or character utility action. Now, I've bound both of these to different buttons, but I've been at it, and maybe there's something I'm missing, but maybe they already patched this out pretty quick. I assume they would, because that would revert the whole point of this nerf. Now, your teammate can recall you, so if you don't mind, can you just go and recall me? There you go. So your teammate can recall you, just like I showed at the very beginning of the footage. That is doable. But now there is a more step process. That means that you get recalled, and then you have to take the time to res, so go and res me. That extra time resing, if you don't have a support that is, you know, pulling you back. And boom. And then you have to top off and heal. This is quite a considerable amount of time than before, and also, only one Void Nexus is allowed in the world at a time. This was actually 2, and they changed this. That's a pretty sizable nerf. And why is this so impactful? Well, you already saw in competitive that Alter was giving pretty much anybody the ability just to push for free. She was getting banned pretty early on in comp overall, and also players at ranked were pretty much abusing this. I mean, think of how many knocks she got, and the whole team just portals back it away and is just gone based on the first knock. That means that everyone, when playing Alter, is going to have to rely more on the tactical, which is very important, rather than her ultimate. Her ultimate isn't just a get out of jail free card. Now, you could still all use it as a team and then pull back, and then maybe your teammate gets knocked and doesn't get out in time, then recall them instead. So there is that benefit. That's why I showed the clip at the start that I had mentioned. Now, the next major buff I actually mentioned here is Seer. Seer is pretty huge overall, and then we're going to talk about the Peacekeeper getting the nerf that it did, is that whenever you throw your ultimate, the biggest issue whenever you're in this is that you hovered and got stuck in the air. Well, they removed that, meaning that Seer really acts very much like a Sparrow when in his ultimate. This also means when you're chasing an opponent that you can pretty much have that momentum, and so that's very beneficial. That's huge. I'm glad that they made this change. This may help with his pick rate. His pick rate was actually dropping considerably even though he had this rework. Well, this should make it more incentivized to actually do it. Now, they also added a short full body scan to lasting beats when an enemy leaves the ult area. So, small change. I don't think that's going to be make and break for a lot of people. Now, also, the Sentinel had been gone for a little while, but now has returned. So the Sentinel is back. It works as intended. We'll see about that, but we'll see what it does. Now, let's talk about the Peacekeeper. So they increase reach chamber between shots. Now, I've been looking and seeing videos online with this. Whenever you're using a purple bolt, I don't think that this feels as impactful. It's still pretty fast. I think the biggest nerf overall was the mag size going from 6 to 5. So you see in the bottom right, it is now 5. They noticed that the PK was pretty much outperforming everything. It's not like his damage was nerfed. I mean, you can still snipe this from a distance. I think that maybe the extra bullet is what is most impactful. We'll kind of see. But the reach chamber time between shots, I'm not gonna lie, if it is, it's not massive. It's just you know? That's how I pretty much feel about it. Now, another one is that they changed the Mad Maggie now sprints at intended speed while using shotguns. I didn't really know that was a bug. I hadn't played a whole lot of Mad Maggie. But overall, I think the biggest change, and that's what I was mentioning, because this impacts my skirmisher review of who's best in tier list overall with Alter. I'm curious how this is going to play out. I think this gives a lot more power to range pressure, such as Vantage or anybody who's using a sniper. And that if you're playing Alter, you won't. I don't think this is going to impact the pick rate so much because Alter's tactical, when played well, I think is really impactful to the squad. But again, the downside here is that, you know, you just don't have that get out of jail free card, which is important. I mirror this to how Revenant was when his ultimate was being abused with Octane, and they're just shoving and jumping, and then if they didn't kill you, then they would just go push again. All right, everybody, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.